Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to another Frontier live stream. I'm Arthur, one of the community hosts here, and I'm joined by the wonderful Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil.
And we have another wonderful special live stream about Realms, Age of Sigmar, Realms of Ruin, which is coming later this year. It's an RTS from wonderful selves at Frontier. But this show is a bit special, Phil, because we're actually going to play through the beta build, which will be released to everybody, released to everybody this Friday at 11 a.m. sort of BST. So we're going to actually show you what you're going to get your hands on later this week. So we'll go through the fundamentals of the game. You're going to play it.
I'm going to play the game.
No pressure, Phil. But just for full context, again, we'll stress, and you'll probably hear me say this a few times, chat, so I do apologise, but what we'll be showing you is sort of work in progress. Clearly, it's a beta, but this is the build you're going to be playing. But there may be some things in there that break. Things may go wrong. We are actually playing the build that you'll be getting your hands on Friday. So we are expecting things to not work. That's the idea behind it. But it's still very, very cool nonetheless. So for more information about the beta, and I have some notes here for you. It begins at 11 a.m. BST, 3 a.m. PT, and it ends on July the 10th at 11:59. So right up to midnight, you can squeeze a game in. And we'll have more details about what comes after that later on. We have got some information for you on screen. I think we just played it there. The beta dates were on screen there. I think our producer Adam was doing it. If not, I've just thrown him under the bus, which is what I do. He's nodding furiously. I've just thrown him under the bus. You're welcome, Adam. There we go. So there's your dates for the open beta. So make sure you make some time. Clear your diaries. One of the things we would say is we got some more information regarding sorts of system specs that went out today. If you do want to know what systems you need to run it, then we have the minimum specs that are on screen now for you. So take a look at these ones as they roll in. So that's the minimum. And then if you want to have the recommended, we also have those on screen for you now. But fret not about screen capping this. If you do want to know more about the specs, please just go into chat and type !specs, and that will take you to these so you can have a look at them. So don't worry about trying to scribble these down with a pen, quill, or anything else you may have to hand. It's absolutely fine. All right, now before I get to my star of the show, the real star of the show, who's sitting very patiently, quietly to my left, one of the things I would suggest for those of you that are looking for setting up and get ready for the open beta on Friday is you will require to have a Frontier account, right?
Will, yes.
So please make sure you sign up for a Frontier account just so it speeds the process up, right? So if you do want to get in as fast as you can on Friday, which I imagine a lot of you will, make sure you have a Frontier account handy. And if you want to know more about the beta, please just type into the chat !beta, and that will take you through to a webpage of all the information on there. But we also have a Discord channel, right?
We do, yes. Yeah, so we've got a Discord, which is a fantastic growing community, recognising a lot of names in chat actually. So hi everyone. Everything you need to know is on there. So yeah, jump into the Discord, get chatting, find yourself some opponents for the weekend as well.
And you'll be opening more rooms as well for some feedback.
Yeah, so there's more coming on Friday.
Yeah, so we'll open up some more rooms for you. Obviously, the beta is there for you to play, and we're really interested to hear what you like whilst you're playing and whatever feedback you might have for us to jot down. Now, on to the star of the show. So, welcome back, Sandy.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in again. I know you're super busy. I have to start with the obvious. Where's the tactical turtleneck? We were waiting for the tactical turtleneck, and it's not here.
I don't know how this has got to be a thing. The tactical turtleneck, unfortunately, is at home. I was going to bring it in. I was under immense pressure to wear it, but I forgot.
It's all right.
So it will return.
Well, look,
if there's a desire for it.
Oh, there's absolutely, there's definitely from our side, there's a desire for it. But thank you for coming back and joining us. So what you're going to be doing today is talking through sort of the fundamentals of the game as Phil sure conquers
as he destroys the enemy, pushes them.
But for those that weren't on the last stream, Sandy, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Sandy Smarko. I'm a principal designer at Frontier, and I'm looking after the gameplay and story for Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin.
Yes, so we are very, very excited by this. We've been playing behind closed doors, we've been playing the beta quite a bit, or various builds as well. But I mentioned to chat, so I just think it's very clear to explain what the beta is, because it's a branch of the game and you carry on working, right? So this is already a little bit older than what
it's a snapshot. It was taken a little while ago. So we can't sit still and just wait for it. Basically, getting a build together, it takes a lot of work and effort. You've got your main game that you're working on called Trunk, and then you have branches and you branch off. But then you don't sit there still working on Trunk. So
Don't take a 5-week holiday.
no. Unfortunately, more's the pity. So there's lots of things that we've already addressed. But even so, the beta is going to be hopefully incredibly useful because the feedback we get from it will let us match up against what we've done to make sure that we've actually gone in the right direction. And also, hopefully lots of people can play the beta. The more people that play it, the more feedback we get, the better we can make the game. Yeah, exactly.
And for those of you, as Phil rightly said earlier on, there's a Discord. There's going to be some feedback rooms in there, which will be collating for the wonderful development team. There'll be some surveys to be done. Just to be clear, the main idea behind the beta is we're on a stress test.
It's really important to stress test.
We've got to stress test the tech, because there's a lot of things you can do in the final game. So we are expecting things to go wrong. So please, over the beta weekend, bear with us. There'll be a whole team furiously working behind the scenes to make sure it goes as smooth as possible. But we are expecting things to break. We want it to break so we can make them stronger.
We do.
And we're also looking at how the units balance out. We've already done quite a few bits of balancing punches since, but it'd be good to see how they sort of match up.
Absolutely.
All right, so if you want to download the beta on Friday, Steam, just navigate to the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin store page, follow a link there and download it. For Xbox Series X and S, launch the Xbox Store, search for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, open beta, select download, and PlayStation 5, launch the PlayStation Store, select the Warhammer, you get the point, right? Just select, go to the store, select a Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, open beta, select download, and then there you have it. You'll be ready to go. If you've got your Frontier account sorted, hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll be into a game against an opponent or even AI.
Yep.
Right. Enough of my waffle. I will be going through some of these details later on, chat. But hello, everybody. So there we go. In chat, we're about to get cracking with the game. So do you want to pick up your weapon of choice, which is the mouse and keyboard? One thing I'll say for the beta, although at launch, any mode of play will be on any platform. So you'll be able to play controller on PC or keyboard and mouse on console. For the beta, it's just your native controllers, but that's a beta, so we'll get to it. We will get to it. All right, so we're going to launch into a quick game, and then what we'll do is oh, hang on, there we go. Don't worry about it. This is going to happen. There we go. We'll have to restart. Okay. Whilst you're doing that, we'll restart this again. There you go. That's a live beta for you, chat. So Sandy, we've got a 1v1 match. So what players will be able to do in the open beta is that you play against another player or play against AI.
Yes.
They'll be able to create their own lobby.
Yes.
And it's the Stormcast, Eternals, and the Orc Crawl Boys, and it's the full armies, right? So this is every unit you'll be able to have in there.
This is the full rosters for those two. It's not. That's a bit of a lie. There's at least one thing missing from both factions. You'll have to, people have to wait for the game for that. But in terms of the units, it's the full rosters and pretty much full capabilities.
Okay, excellent. And we've got one map for the beta, isn't it? We've got
it's one map. I have seen a bit of feedback about what this map looks like. It's got lots of lanes, and it's not as laned as people think. There are lots of crossover points, and there will be a variety of types of maps in the game at launch. So this is just one example. Yeah,
we'll have more to talk about maps and multiplayer later on, but this is literally to talk about the beta. We'll go for as many questions as we can, but luckily and speedily, you've gone through again and rebooted, and we're there. So we're
up and running.
Just for full context, chat, we're going to let Phil play against an easy. Purely because, actually, we were talking about this earlier, easy's not actually that easy.
It might not be quite as easy as we think, but you've hopefully got a better than 50% chance of winning.
But we're going to be asking Phil to stop and pause on certain screens, so obviously he won't be fighting, but the AI will be, so Phil's at a disadvantage already. So do you want to get cracking, and we'll start. We were umming about playing as the Uruks, but we've got a special stream all about the Uruks coming up, and we didn't want to spoil it, but we were talking about the narrators are really fun.
Yeah, the game announcer, the Stormcast game announcer, has a fantastic voice. It's the guy that tells you, oh, you've lost units or you've captured a victory point. The Uruk commander voice is equally cool, and I can't wait. I think people that like the Uruks and Uruk Crawl Boys will feel It's on
They
familiar
can serve
territory.
good food,
a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun coming up with those lines.
All right, so we've started. Feel free to crack on, because I know there's speed
on.
might be get going. So what we're looking at here. So what's on screen can we see at the moment?
So there's a unit of liberators, and everyone starts in multiplayer with a hero.
Yeah.
It's so that you're not going to get completely bushwhacked by early Rush's heroes. The tier 1 hero, in this case, it's the Knight Vexilla. They're tough, but they're not all powerful. You do have to look after them. If they die, you can just just rebuy them. And liberators, it's a standard heavy squad for the Stormcast. They're good bruisers. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great against projectile weapon
Fair to
units.
say early game though, right? These are literally
Absolutely.
out the box kind of like.
Absolutely. So I see the first schoolboy error that Phil's made. He's got 2 units capturing.
I know, right?
a point where
split them up.
should, yeah, whereas he probably should be going for at least that victory point and an arcane conduit, and possibly building some more units.
Yeah. So
because the AI is not going to let up.
So you will see. As Phil's playing, we'll talk through what's on the screen. So don't worry about us, Phil. You just crack on. You just crack on. So obviously we've just talked about arcane conduits. We've talked about victory points and stuff like that. Can you talk through why they're important, what they're doing? We'll come across looking as Phil's playing.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, as I've said before, as we've all said before, we're not reinventing the wheel. Where there are mechanics that in RTS Yarmul that work, we want to use them. So the arcane conduits represent points of importance on the map for gathering resources. So you can see there's like small amberstone kind of deposits in there. So there's one of the resources is Realmstone, which is in Gur, is this kind of petrified amberstone that's comprised entirely of magic. So you want to capture these locations because they're going to give you resources. By default, capturing them gives you command, which is the blue flag in the top left corner.
Yep.
That command represents your ability to control logistics, summoning more soldiers to the battlefield. And the more of the terrain you control, the more the powers that be deem that you should get more troops to hold on to it.
Makes sense. So there's a rule between like how much land you want to grab, how much you overextend yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you grab lots of land, you will eventually get lots of resources, but that's a lot of land to hold.
Yeah.
And you've probably noticed that there are regions that are around each of these arcane conduits, and they start off grey, neutral. To capture conduit, you just walk within the region and shrink
See it shrinking down.
Exactly. When it shrinks to its minimum level, you capture the conduit, it's now yours, and it starts to grow again whilst you've got units in it. So if you walk away, that growth will stop. Why is this important? Well, it's because the amount of command that you get is boosted by the size of that region. So if you just go and capture lots of regions very quickly, great, you own lots of land, but it won't be generating much resource for you. You've got to spend the time to grow the region by having units in there, which means that you're not prosecuting attacks elsewhere. So it's a balance, of how much you want to push forward and be the aggressor, and how much you want to defend. So oh dear. So that's the
that's the hero unit.
That's the
getting murdered.
The Auric killer boss. He's no joke. He's no slouch. He's a very powerful unit. So he's put paid to those.
And also that's a ranged unit engaging in melee there, so not doing.
Oh, were they ranged? I didn't. All I saw were their
yeah.
bodies hitting the floor and then being telegraphed back to Sigmar. So that's conduits. You want to capture them for command, grow them, and you'll be building various bastions on them.
Yeah, so we're looking at bastions now.
Exactly.
So these are what you do, right?
Yeah, so that's a good choice. A Realmstone, a Harvester, an Outpost Siphon, which when you build that, it will start to siphon magic from the Realmstone that's there, and that will build your second resource, which is the orange kind of trilobite style petrified icon with the 90 bytes. So Realmstone represents magical power.
Yeah.
You get it every time you capture an arcane conduit or a victory point. You do get given a limited lump sum to keep the game engine going at the beginning. But in the end, you're going to want to build at least one.
You want to fortify these and put and they each one of those. I don't know if Chat had a chance to see it. Then we'll take a look in a moment. But each one of those bastions does different things, right?
They do different things, absolutely. The Realmstone one is probably at some point it's essential because you're just not going to get enough Realmstone without it. So it's a marker. It's a key marker for when you start building them and how many you get and if you upgrade them and how well you look after them. But of course, if you're building those, you're not building another bastion that might be healing your troops or attacking the enemy. And so it's always a trade-off.
So one of the things I tend to do when I play this is I always pick one of the bastions to be like my rally point. So because you could obviously the thing when I'm playing Realms of Ruin is troops are precious because they take time to build, they cost money to build. So I tend to have a bastion which can heal, so I can bring them back and keep them relatively close to the front line and then just cycle them through because it does become a pretty contested zone because that middle victory point. You tend to find that there's a victory point near each of the starting points. And then there's a third one, which is no man's land, which everyone's going for.
On this particular map, absolutely. And that brings us neatly onto victory points. They're how you win the game.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't a brand new magical concept. It's a very tried and tested mechanic for real-time strategy games. There are 3 of them on this map. You've both got victory scores that I think start at around 750.
Yes.
As long as you capture and hold more of the victory points than the enemy, they will start to lose the victory point score.
Yeah.
And the ratio is, if the more you own compared to them, the faster that ticks down. So if you own all 3, they own none. They're going to lose a lot of victory points. Yeah.
And it's all about being in real trouble. I think Phil's in real trouble, so we may be starting another game relatively soon.
Yeah, no,
but don't worry.
there's a lot going on.
It's absolutely fine, because this gives us a chance to talk through some of the other structures we've got here, because obviously we've got the realm gate, which is where you summon your troops.
Yes, the realm gates
right?
are where troops arrive, but next to it or nearby you've got the command post, which for the Stormcast is, I think, the muster point.
Yep.
The command post is important because that's what you upgrade to unlock better technology and better
see this
units.
here. So that's the units you can get on there. Phil's just teasing us.
Yeah, there you are. So, it's worth noting that the visuals for this interface are not final.
Right.
It's kind
serviceable.
Of functional.
It's serviceable.
Functional.
Yeah.
Both beginning with F, but not the same. Not the same meaning. But yeah, upgrading the command post, the muster point, it's integral to how you win a game. That's the big key marker. So an arcane conduit that's got a realm stone harvesting bastion on it, that's a key marker. You're going to need that at some point, at least one. But upgrading your command post, without that, you're going to be fighting with tier 1 troops. They're good, but once someone gets to tier 2, they will be outclassed.
Yeah.
They're still useful because you'll see that you've got command, the blue flag, you've got realm stone, the orange trilobite, and then you've got next to it a bunch of dudes. That's population.
Yep.
So there is a population cap, and it escalates in the game. So you can start off with 6 units. That's not 6 people. That's 6 squads of people. And as you upgrade for the Stormcast, as you upgrade the muster point, that number increases. So each unit that you build eats a bit of that population.
Yep.
So all tier 1, they normally eat one.
But
and
tier 2,
they start to eat 2, possibly 3, maybe even more. So you won't be able to field huge armies of high tier warriors. So there's always a need to keep using the lower tier squads. Even at the end of the game, because A, they've got abilities and they can be buffed up through upgrades that make them just give them a bit more value, and B, otherwise you end up with wasted population that you're not spending.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I think the one thing to note about sort of the multiplayer matches, and I think when the players get hold of the beta on Friday, they'll find that these are designed to be sort of fast-paced.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I mean, even if Phil, and I'm not going to say Phil's going to lose, but he's going to lose. But if he's, these are designed to be up to like 35 minutes long. They're supposed to be fast-paced, impactful, get in, play your game.
Absolutely. Yeah. There are mechanisms to prevent what's called snowballing, which is where one side just wins, and by winning, they're more likely to win. But we don't want to get rid of that completely, because if you're really good at the game and you're playing someone that's not as good, you need to win. Well, the game can end. But yeah, they're punchy, basically. A lot of fun, so you can get back in there. Wow, this isn't.
It's not going very well.
Not going to lie.
I think
it's not going too well.
I think mistakes were made early. I think when we start another game, I think my advice would be we hit some low tier units immediately out of the realm gate, spread them out straight away.
What am I doing here? You've got this.
Well,
under
I'm just
control.
saying. Look, and also to be fair, and this is honest to God how it works. Like, I know Phil knows how to play this game because I've been playing against Phil and he's beat me plenty of times. But I know what it's like when you're on stream and you're trying to think about what to do and show us what's happening.
It's incredibly difficult.
It's really, really difficult to do this. So next game, just go ham. Just start building stuff. Just do whatever you need to do. We're absolutely have fun with that. But see this one through. I reckon there's still a chance. There's no chance. There's still a chance.
In fairness,
I'm just throwing so I get some easy opponents at the weekend.
because it's easy AI. I think maybe there's a chance.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting matchup there, where you've got Phil had a bow unit and a shield, and the enemy had a sword. So the sword does really good against shield, doesn't do so well against bow. So unfortunately, the enemy managed to attack the bows. Well, actually.
The problem is, I think the bow, because it's engaged in close quarters, it's
nowhere near as good. Stormcast is slightly better in general across the board, even in melee. The intention is that they can handle themselves all the time. But yeah, that was.
Yeah,
that was a full on.
One of the key things about the Stormcast is sort of mixed units and sort of support combined arms.
They don't super excel. The Oryx have a tendency to deal a little bit more damage. They tend to be a little bit more brittle, especially early on.
Yeah.
Later on, in the roster, their units have got some big hitters that kind of level it, and that it starts to kind of swing a little bit the other way. Whereas the Stormcast are actually quite difficult because you need to be on the ball with all of your squads and all of the types. They've got a tool for every job, but you've got to have the foresight to have
use it at the right time.
Place. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're looking. I mean, it's looking like it's going to come to an end. I don't think the Stormcast will be victorious in this particular battle.
Well, if the Oryx get to his command post, it's all over. Interestingly, if you can attack an enemy's command post, you don't kill it, but the damage that you do is converted into victory point loss.
Oh, okay, so it's another
way to kind of finish the job to prevent the kind of the.
And the other thing to remember here, I think it's so I use my sort of range units. I set up sort of firing arcs, and you can do it just by clicking and dragging the mouse at the last location to set like sort of where you want to face.
It's really important because they're full on range units. They only attack in their arc, so they can be flanked. Yeah. So it's important to have good lines of fire or have them protected by a good old meat shield in front of them. There's the Knight Vexler doing his thing with the. With his big healing ability, which is incredibly powerful. Yes. You were saying about healing.
Yeah.
So the command post, everyone nearby will always get healed slowly by it as a passive for free. Yeah. But it's very slow.
Yeah.
And it's so power curve wise, it tails off after tier 1.
Yeah.
Whereas the healing bastions, they heal percentage healing, so they're always really good.
Yeah.
So like I said, the way that we do the bastion balancing is we make all of them really desirable. And then say, well, you've got to go and capture the arcane conduits, and there are only so many.
But if they're doing that, obviously you're not getting the other bonuses.
You're not getting the resources, absolutely.
Yeah. So it is really, you've got to think it through. And I don't know how you start the game, but I tend to do sort of one of each. And I if possible, I capture the sort of left, middle, right on this particular map. And I'm like, middle's always my healing bastion, and then left, I'll go for
on this particular map, the healing bastion in the middle makes a lot of sense because it's the easiest one to get to. And then, I think for myself on this map at the moment, I'm tending to go either more ranged or more sword. So more bow, more sword. But that's just a preference because early on you don't really know what the enemy's kind of spewing out. So there is an element of, well, what do you want to do rather than what the enemy does. But once you start seeing their units, that's when if you're seeing lots of swords, you should be thinking, well, I need walls of bows, basically.
Because
shoot
you know
them
what
down.
counts, which is that triangle of sort of.
And if they're coming at you mixed, then that's kind of what probably a good way to go back.
Well, there we go. So what you showed us how to do defeat. You showed us how to defeat. That's perfect. But also, here we have the end screen here, so we show what happened here. But I tell you what will be interesting to show here will be like a good RTS. We have all of the stuff at the back end of the game to show you sort of what you were doing during the round, what went on. So can we have a quick flick through some of the tabs? You can see here, look, arcane conduits that the AI captured was 9, yours was 3. So immediately you can see their resource. I guarantee when we get to the graph, it's going to be a quite significant
I think
difference.
a rather punishing number there is that it looks like the damage ratio, if I'm getting that right, that the bot did a slightly better use of counters.
Yeah,
and that's where it all comes to. That coupled with the fact that it was relatively aggressive in capturing land.
Yeah.
I think, like I say, I think at the moment, easy maybe isn't as easy. It's easy, but not in all the ways that we want it to be. So there's also a lot of finessing going on.
For the players out there, when you are playing the beta, please remember that as well. So there is, I think, even a very easy tab, but remember, balancing isn't in full effect at all.
Absolutely.
So it may not be as easy as it looks. So we have a look at the squads tab as well to show through, because it will actually go through everything that you've done, how many you've reduced, how many you've lost. And then the damage they've dealt. Obviously, your best unit is on there. Most damage taken from their killer boss was taking some. I think it was the first kill was the killer boss came in and wiped out your
killer boss wiping out our squad just in one
is
it's always going to be a painful experience.
And then we have a look at the build order, and we can see sort of what was happening here in terms of both yourself and.
So interestingly, there you can see that AI really favoured assault squads, lots of hobgrot slitters and.
But also the speed of the units when they were coming out. So they were definitely churning out units. You were very slow, I think, only because you were showing us.
Interestingly, in the beta build, I think the tier 1 units are very, very cheap.
Yeah.
I think we've moved on a little bit from that, so it's a little bit more measured. or maybe we've events that actually we might have made other years a bit cheaper as well. But it's worth it. Because the games are fast-paced, if you've got money and there's nothing else to build, just get some more units out.
Yeah,
get to the population cap.
It's always good to. I find it like, and I think most of the RTS players here will be looking at this, but harassing the other team or the opponent is always good. Like whenever you want them, you want them always thinking about what you're doing rather than allowing them to formalise a strategy and how to attack you.
Putting pressure on them, walking into their regions to shrink them, even if you've no intention of taking that region. If you shrink it, then you're just eating away at their economy a little bit. So
there's someone in chat saying no real idea until the community gets a hand on it about how good the AI is. That's absolutely the reason why we're doing. That's absolutely the reason why we're doing the beta. So please, like I said, we're just literally showing you the fundamentals of the whole purpose of the stream is to go through like what is the mechanics of the game. So have a look through why you have conduits, why you have victory points. What the
I see someone saying money in the bank is not being spent. That's a bad thing. In general, have a plan, work to it. Get squads out there.
Spend.
Interestingly, obviously, we make that annoyingly difficult in a juicy way by the fact that our bastions they are quite expensive compared to units.
Yes.
So you do have to save up for them. They are very important though.
Yeah.
Because they're, especially against tier 1 units, they're quite resilient and they will chill the aggression in the game for a little bit until you get into higher tiers.
It's a really good point because I think if Phil managed to get maybe that middle or that right hand
get a
to level 1, it may have slowed them down quite considerably.
A bastion will prevent a region from being flipped. Even you can shrink it down, but it won't flip until the bastion is destroyed. And also, if the region is grown to maximum, the bastion will repair itself automatically. It's a balance between aggression and defence in that sense.
So have a quick look at the graph. See how it. I don't want to rub it in anymore, Phil. But I mean, you can see here like it's
not quite exponential. It's just a linear defeat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point here where obviously the AI was taking quite a bit of eco and you weren't. But you know, these are lessons learned, and this is all actually really good information for players. Sort of once we get into the meat of it later on.
We fully expect in the beta there to be a lot of paths of least resistance, some quirks, some units that are way too strong or way too cheap or way too expensive. It's all about the feedback.
Yeah,
it's all about the feedback.
All right, do you want to try and see if you can?
Let's do it.
Give these filthy Uruks another go. Let's see if this works. All right, but if you've just tuned in, welcome. So we're in a special live stream. We're joined by the wonderful Sandy Samarco. So Sandy's here to talk us through the open beta, which is going live this Friday through till I think it's midnight Sunday. Available on all platforms, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5 and PC. And you can play as either the Stormcast Eternals or the Uruk Crawl Boys.
I love the way that you say Uruk.
Is that wrong? Am I saying it wrong?
Well, I don't know. Just I say Uruk.
You say Uruk. I say Uruk. I don't know.
Uruk would be you, Crawl Boys, led by the sinister, psychopathic killer boss Bankfear.
Practice that way more than I.
Well, look, this is the thing. It may well be that tomorrow there's a phone call and it's Games Workshop saying, "Sorry, Sandy, you're wrong."
No, it'll definitely be to me. It'll definitely be to me.
But for me, it's always been an Uruk.
I'm going to take your lead and say you're probably absolutely correct.
I bet it's not now. I bet it's not.
No. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be going live for everybody. If you do want to know how to get involved, please just put into chat !beta. That will take you to the website. If you do want to join our Discord, it's going to be vitally important for us to get your feedback. So please make sure you're there. It's a growing community. We're thousands deep, I think, in a minute. In there, it's growing. It's growing. Don't worry about me. You fight. And then Discord will take you into that. And we have some details about a fantastic competition, which I'll talk about after we finish this second match for you guys to take a look at. Right.
So, let's get those conduits either side captured.
Let's go.
I think that's what you need.
I'd split up and go for both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Early on, you don't need massive combinations of forces to take on the enemy if they're scouting as well.
There's one on the far right I'd go for as
something else that's worth pointing out, not that you need to do it, Phil, but if you select your command post, you can set a rally point from it.
Right click and it will.
Whereas these people that come out of the realm gate, they will go straight to where you've put them, and that can be really helpful in the mid level of the game where you don't want to be just faffing around and always having to go back.
Yeah.
So this is looking better. This is looking better.
So we've got this victory point. I would
Yeah.
push on. I would definitely be pushing over here. Like you want them thinking, give them time to
I think you can get more units.
Yeah,
Let's get some more men on the go.
Spend from your realm gate. That is your back.
No, you just. Well, here's an interesting point. You can open the squad production screen from anywhere.
Anywhere.
In fact, the only time we can't do it is when you're opening the construction menu. But we are looking at the controls. That's one thing I think we might have already changed where we're using discrete buttons so that you can have anything selected and get to both interfaces.
Yeah. So
just another little element where we're moving on quality of life, making it
there
a
we
bit
go.
better.
So Phil, think about how we're going to start upgrading some of these bastions as you bring more units into play here, because we're at unit cap at the minute. You're 6 of 6, so I think now your eco's going up. It's how we're going to spend that on those bastions, and then perhaps get to level 2.
So I think actually initially.
Go level 2?
No, I think level 2 at this rate. I think either a vision bastion, a ether wing, the bottom one, ether wing roost, or a realm stone. Either one's going to be good. You need to get that economy pumping, and at the same time, once you've got one of those going, yeah, absolutely, because it's going to build up slowly over time. You might want to start harassing that middle victory point because that's where the scores start to hurt.
Well.
Or going after these units as you see them, like on the minimap, someone's visible. So that's a bad matchup because they're swords. So you really want to get some bows in on that, shooting in from afar, because they will help basically.
Yeah.
Also, remember we've got abilities. So this is a big part of Realms of Ruin. A lot of the units have abilities. Abilities in general always cost something. So that's another element you've got to juggle. And it's one of the reasons why Realm Stone is so important because most abilities use Realm Stone, but they can really turn the tide in a particular engagement. So it's good to. It's like if you use them, you're pushing upgrades into the event horizon. But if it's winning you individual fights, it sometimes is worth it. So that's a lot of.
So Kilos is in play here, but
this is getting dirty now.
Interesting, yeah. So we're gonna have to
remember to charge with heroes and assault troops whenever you can, because they get a nice big damage bonus when they're doing that. I just want to point out again that flag from the Knight Vexlor. It isn't like that. It's now fixed and he's animated.
Was it #hashtag team flag? Was it?
The flag is this. It goes to show it's taken us a long time to get the flag to work because it's so complicated, but it will be better after the beta.
I mean, we're sitting here. I mean, even this is on easy. They are flanking. The AI is not.
They're playing rather nastily. Actually. Yeah. Rather nastily. So really want some liberators to go and force those bolt boys to move away. But you can see now one of your regions is shrinking because they're in there. They're probably heading straight for it.
And that's the one we've upgraded. So we're going to want to protect that as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
Maybe bring over some units to try and protect that.
Shield units, because again, he's favouring bolt boys a lot this time, by the looks of it. So that's.
The heroes in play up the top there. So I think they're going to see them off.
The hero's going to
maybe loop them around for see if we can get them in. Yeah. So.
Could be a bit of bow on bow action coming up.
There we go. Right.
I want to make sure they're facing the right way though.
Get in there.
And get that. I'll get that Knight Vexlor charging. It's going to get in anyway now. Oh, you've given them a. Right. So that's a really good point. So your guys walked past the enemy there.
Yes.
There's a very good reason for that because you were doing a move command. This is pretty standard in RTS parlance, but if you give someone a move command, they won't try and engage anyone near them.
Unless they're engaged, right?
Exactly. If you give them an attack move, then they'll basically try and engage everyone en route. So it really is, it's all kicking off here. So that's not a terrible matchup.
No, but I think we need to be thinking about more units and upgrades here, Phil, because we've got a lot of eco here we're not spending. So I'd be bringing units into play and upgrading other bastions, or even maybe the command post.
I feel really terrible now. We've got armchair generals.
It's the best way to be, Sandy, because we're not in any danger.
I've played many games, so I know that it can be tough and intimidating, but it's worth persevering because it is also a lot of fun. So yeah, that's it. So your economy now, so you're paying for it in terms of you're getting thwacked a bit here and there with units, but you've actually got an economy now that's solid. So as long as you don't start losing these regions, it's not as dire as it might look. Yeah,
thinking about constant churn of units coming out now and supporting, right?
You've got units coming in.
I mean, our eco's looking pretty okay. I think there's that victory point would be great to take if we could.
Absolutely, no, it should be.
Grab this.
You really want to focus on that, and hope that the enemy hasn't built.
Well, it's shrinking. I think we could. So if we can hold this area now.
Yeah, so you can see
we're
that
gonna be at an
region
advantage.
shrinking means that although the enemy captured that conduit, they didn't build a bastion on it, and there are no units in it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of free intel, really.
So let's keep this going, Phil. I mean, it might be worthwhile having a look at your eco is pretty strong. Maybe look at upgrading to tier 2.
It's coming up.
Not quite ready yet.
It is now. See, now I think absolutely you should be doing it. It's a good. I've got all the faith now. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the love.
And what units do we want to be pumping out here? I mean, what we got on the?
Well, you've got
So
one
we've just got
slot.
to wait 20 seconds for
Yeah.
that to
You've got one
build.
slot free right now that you could get another squad out. I'd be probing those two. Well, actually, no. Looking in the middle, there's stuff going on.
Yeah, I'd be just churning into that middle. That's where it's all kicking off. I keep reinforcing there. That Knight Vexler, remember, he's good.
So now you're tier 2. You can probably be a bit more free with the abilities anyway. Something you haven't used at all is any tech upgrades.
No.
Stormcast do have tech upgrades, and it's always an interesting choice as to when to use them, especially in the beta. It's because the balance isn't quite perfect, so it might look a bit insane and random. But there are some nice upgrades. There's a whole bunch of upgrades for improving the health of various units.
Yes.
Yeah, and these will be vitally important later on. I mean,
Yeah,
once you start doing this,
it's
they
all
become
about
like
value.
tanks and stuff.
Yeah, it's about value. You spend 100 realmstone on an upgrade, and every unit that price that gets it, that's value you're getting all the time every time you build those units.
So what we've got here now is, although we have multiple units, they're all pretty heavily damaged. The Oryx are pushing against the victory point. Because they don't want you to have more than one, obviously, because they want that for themselves to start ticking down. They've already taken a big chunk of your victory score away.
Oh dear! Look, and again, here's the thing: because you're not using attack move, you're walking your bow units into melee, and the enemy Auric gut rippers are more than happy to do that. A good way to think about the ranged units is treat them like light artillery. Don't walk them in. Just creep them forward. Make sure they've always got arcs of fire.
Yeah.
Because then you'll see that you get a lot of value out of them.
So, the prosecutors are off.
Prosecutors are very powerful because they're very quick. They get around the map, and they're a tier 2 unit, which means inherently they're quite strong.
And they're going to do the hammers from on high.
Oh no, it looks like they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to. He's walking round. They're not attacking. You need to either charge them or land them. I think what happened there. I'm not sure what happened there. But yeah, that's it. Get them in, get them fighting. Slaughter the enemy.
That's all right, yeah. And we've got our hero unit over here is taking some fire from the distance. That they've been quite clever over here. So we need to look at.
Ouch! Yeah, you want to move.
Yeah, you want to move your. Yeah.
Get him out of the way.
So there's a lot of things to look at here. I mean,
right now, a Banner of the Reforged, which is about to come off cooldown, will be incredibly useful.
Yeah. So I'll be using that immediately. 120 is going to.
I see. There's some people behind you as well, though. You've got lots of money. You could be, I think you're going to need to get some more troops out now.
Yes, yeah, I've lost a few.
And the enemy, Norton is encroached at the bottom right of your map.
Yeah.
Unbelievable cheek of it.
More prosecutors. Let's go for the break. The vanguards.
I feel there's some panic creeping in here, Phil, but I think you can do this still.
No
You can
panic.
definitely do this.
It looks like. Oh, is that a Realmstone harvester you've got in the middle bastion? The middle bastion.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It is good. You are short on Realmstone. I think another Realmstone bastion, if you can get another conduit, might be
You
useful.
can probably take this one back down here.
If there's no one there, well, there's a hero.
Yeah, I think this is he's.
Oh, turn those archers round, and they will. Yes. There you go.
Now I'm not sure if your hero is going to last very long here.
You might want to retreat him. He's likely to die.
Press Q, I think is your quick retreat. Just on him. Oh no.
Oh
too late.
no! Still,
Too slow, chicken Marengo, and he's gone.
death is always only momentary for the Stormcast.
I think you're going to get
like they were waiting
their
for that as
hero.
well.
Yeah,
unit's gonna
it
go
looks
here.
like he's going to go down there.
But we've now got units behind you. You want to bring those archers back and not into melee, I think, because bring them in and charge in. That's it. You've
So
got
in moments like this, it gets into just a big brawl.
Yeah.
You are a bit shuttered for Realmstone. I think.
But we do have units pouring out, which is
You've got
great.
lots
So
of
let's
units,
start supporting over here. I'd also probably send Phil, being the archer general I am, one of those units on the right-hand side there to retake this conduit if possible and stop them building anything on there, because if they're building something there, it's going to be a real pain to get them off. There's some more prosecutors coming, which is great.
They need, you want to hunt hunt shield units with them, especially if you then got tier 1, because they would do very good. Oh, look at that! He's built something on it, hasn't he? Oh my goodness! The good news is tier 2 are better at taking buildings than tier 1. So, are they gonna chuck their hammers? They are doing it. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, let's get out of our backyard, thanks, and we'll have this, and hopefully get another.
I think
should land them probably, and then just smash it to pieces. Yeah.
I think that damage is probably going to be metered a little bit further.
It'll be alright. It'll be up it.
I mean, all of the bastions have an upgraded version, which increases their health, so there is that.
Yeah.
But this is all getting a bit desperate again. Oh dear, he's charging in.
Although there was a hefty difference in victory score before.
Yeah, now it's equalised.
Now it's evened out quite nicely.
Although he's just the enemy has taken that one again.
That victory point, yeah. But it's this one over here. It's being contested.
Not for long.
Look at that. There's a lot of stuff.
We've still got more units being built here, Phil. Keep churning it out. Your eco's pretty good, and we're going to take one of their bastions, which is going to be great. You would hurt them there. So I just start harass them.
Get a Celestar Ballista out, at least. Maybe even 2 of them. You've got to be very careful with them. They're incredibly slow and cumbersome.
Artillery.
But they will do a lot of damage. If you also, they've got an upgrade, AB upgrade, where you can either make them super effective against monsters, or it gives them a big area effect attack. In this case here, I think an area effect attack would be. So that would be in the tech tree.
Here, don't we?
I'd say I'd get Ramstorm.
Get a siphon. Yeah, let's
Siphon.
Yeah.
Let's start tuning it because that's what we're lowering at a minute. We've got 669.
You've got the middle one, but he's taken and went. God, this AI.
It's not making it easy for you, but
no, we are.
Oh, okay, yes.
Right, be very careful with that ballista. It's vulnerable. Just inch it forward, but once it gets in range, it'll do the business, and you won't have to worry about that.
But we do have some issues over here, Phil. I'd take you've got some prosecutors over here. I think you can use to support on your right hand side. Who would just let's get them up and get them into this fight on the left hand side and get this victory point back. So he's now attacking a bastion and your victory point.
That's true. It's worth noting as well that even if you've got no conduits, you do get an amount of command just from existing, like your command post.
So that's showing you the range of the ballista. So if just a little bit further forward, that's going to hit them quite nicely. And do quite a nice bit of damage from range.
Also, look at the Herculean strength of that one Stormcast. There we go. Bang, right, okay, that's going to start eating into them. Oh, where they're moving for? Just let them set up there. Get them, yes. Ooh, yeah. The Celestar Ballista, I think, has multiple barrels, so it fires little salvos.
So we've got the middle as well, we're looking at.
This is good.
They're just setting up, they should start firing. There we go, that's good.
That's going to make a big difference.
We have this, although they are pushing hard on the left. But, we took a bit of a
You've equalised it briefly, momentarily, but I think you're doing all right.
So, yeah, I think we can support on the right hand side now, maybe.
You've got a lot of Realmstone. I will be looking at some tier 1 upgrades, or even a tier 2 upgrade. I think that, like I say, the Celestar Ballista one in tier 2, no, it's the one to the far right. One of the lightning charge shot. Yeah, go on, get that. Right, that will unlock the lightning charge shot ability, which it covers an area in electrified death. It does a lot of damage. Yeah.
So but this is all stuff. I mean, we're trying to do a bit of a whistle stop tour, but the fundamentals of this playthrough, so you get an idea, chat, of just exactly how the game mechanics work in sort of in multiplayer. So it's taking possession of territory, learning how you're going to be using your bastions and to what effect, what upgrades you're going to be using, how you're using your troops in combination. And then for us, on our side of it, it's watching you do it, watching what units you use, watching if they're overbalanced or underpowered, maybe, might be a case.
And RTS is a giant lattice network of interdependent elements, so we have to look at all of them. There's a vast amount of maths that are involved, but there's also a huge amount of touchy-feely.
Oh, you just lost it just as it fired.
What was that he lost?
It was
the prosecutors.
Okay, it's all right, don't worry.
They can be replaced.
So they're pushing that right-hand side as well, still pushing hard.
I like prosecutors.
I think prosecutors are good. Prosecutors are good for reacting. But this AI, he is
covering that victory point.
He's going for it. He's really going for it. I think you need to. Is that you bit slow off the charge, so it didn't get full effect.
Again, so what we're looking at here is every unit. You said they have abilities, and it's really understanding of when and where to use those abilities and what is the right time. Because we had the stuff where obviously we had the Nightvex that were healing units all around it, which was super useful at the time. and can change absolutely the tide of battle, and actually can lure enemies in, right? If you think they're going to charge some weak units, and suddenly they're all
we've
go.
also seen some quite skilled players in the office. They're dodging charges and things, which if you micro, there are some big advantages to have for that. I can't do that very well.
No, I've never been good at microing on an RTS. Oh, nice. So they landed and said hello. They're obviously
they're going to spank them.
Orruk was stunned, and now their Orruk is dead.
Now they're fighting. So that's a nasty matchup because I think that there's a lot of Hobgot Slitters in that squad, but the Prosecutors are a tier above.
Can we bring that?
Oh, look at that! No, they're doing fine. They're doing
I'll
fine.
bring it a little bit further back, because it's got quite a range on it.
Luckily, no. See now those Prosecutors are going to start taking damage from the. I think it looks like the killer bosses on.
Killer bosses on there, but we've got a Ballista coming in.
You know what? I haven't seen any tier 2 from the Oryx yet, so you're okay. You're okay because you're ahead in the tier. Mm-hmm. You've just got to somehow either start doing nibbly strikes on that 3rd victory point, or you've got to own this 2nd one.
Nice use of the ability there, Phil.
That's powerful.
Quite a bit of damage to those units bunched up there. And now the Ballista's chuckling in. The Ballista got the charge lightning. When you said they had no other units.
Yeah, I think I might have boxed that. I might have cursed it a little bit.
So can we have a little zoom in on what looks like impending doom? What have we got here?
That's actually interesting. This is the Marsh Crawler Slogoth. It's a tough armoured unit. It's not a be-all and end-all in terms of like striking capabilities, but it's very tough. It can be upgraded to act as a mobile reinforcement point, and it can actually chuck nets and stun people, bring like flying units down to the ground. It's an all-round annoyance because it's tough.
Yeah.
Prosecutors are really good against it. The Ballista, especially if you get the upgrade, is incredibly good against it. But tier 1s, it's going to sit there and
it's flanked your Ballista. I'll just.
But no, look, you've got Prosecutors.
Run away if you can.
Prosecutors are fine. They're going to be fine. That's got a minimum range, annoyingly.
You've got units over here. I would try and get those if I were you. Yeah, let's have a look at this ability. Go for it.
Let's get this. Oh, what are they doing? They're looking the wrong way. Hopefully they'll soon decide to not do that.
There they go. They're coming back the other way.
This is the thing about the Ballistas, it's very slow, basically, to act. So it's all about getting the placement. Oh, it's going to do its ability just as they've died. But hey, it
looks nice though.
That would have totally shown them if they were there and not already dead.
Yeah. This Ballista could be in trouble.
Yeah. It does a lot of damage though, right? Its primary battlefield role is attacking lots of units, but it does need support.
I think we could be looking possibly at endgame here. There's a lot of Oryx coming in. Although those Prosecutors are doing a huge amount of damage.
As you got the tiers, the units are worth their weight in gold. They will do an awful lot. Look at this. Oh, come on. There's a little bit of a charge in there as well.
Beautiful. Stun them so now they can weigh into them whilst they're stunned.
So you know what? I think you were doing your own team member down. That was a triumphant... That just shows what abilities do at the right time. They just turn the tide of a particular battle. There's a cost to it. Obviously, you pay money for those abilities, but
I think the problem we've got now is they now have all 3 victory points, and that is you can see how fast your victory score is dropping down here, and it may be unrecoverable at this stage.
Oh, I think that looks like a potential the Hobgrot Slitters chucking grenades now. Hobgrot Slitters are great. They can bury mines in the floor.
That's just what we need at this stage.
They're sneaking, actually, there's a bunch of Orruk units that also have stealth capabilities.
Yeah, I mean we discussed this in the first sort of live stream about how
they're different.
They all have different play styles and stuff like that. Yeah. We'll talk more about the. I've got to get it right now. Oryx. I've got it in my head now.
You say Oryx, and I'll say Uryx.
Potato.
Potato. That's fine. Yeah.
So there we go. I think it's going to be a tough to recover for this.
Here's the thing.
It's not unrecoverable though.
The victory point system means that it's always possible if you play well to recover, as long as you own more than half of the victory points, or as long as you own half.
Yeah.
You won't lose any more. You will stabilise. So. I mean, it's a tall order. I'm not going to.
It's going to be tough right now.
But I see a lot of gold.
But, I mean, we've got a lot of eco we're not spending here, so it's probably upgrades and there's stuff we should be buying here.
You could be flooding Prosecutors or maybe some evocators with their awesome. They've got a kind of big lightning buff that helps them, and hurts the enemy, and they're a tough, heavily armoured unit. So there's stuff.
So here we go. So what we got here is we got the we've got charge going in.
Yeah, that's better.
Let's have a bit of that.
So that's a beautiful matchup. That unit is basically
It's decimated.
Yeah,
It's
you've got
finished.
2 swords and a hero on him. Look, it just that goes to show that combat can be over very quickly if you've got the right matchups. Now the hero will be best pushing against those archers because heroes kind of stand apart.
Yeah,
they often don't have super weaknesses. There are certain units actually that are very good against heroes. Like we haven't seen them, but there are.
And of course, we've seen like the mass archers will
mass archers in the end will take anything, but there is an upgrade for the Vanguard Raptors that gives them long strike sniper rifles effectively.
Yeah.
Fancy medieval sniper rifles, and they're very good. They're specifically good against heroes. But it looks like Prosecutor.
See, I think we found Phil's favourite unit.
Oh well, what's not to like?
Only until.
Just unfortunately, they need to be on that victory point
Only until the Lord Celestin.
to steep. Well, yeah, to. Oh look! Come on, get them on. Get someone on that victory point, and you can stem the flow.
I mean, if you can put it back from 543 versus 86, I will. You'll never have to buy a pint ever again. But I think again we could be looking at.
Oh dear! Look, there's a lot of.
Oh, what we got over there?
Me thinks that the enemy is at the pop cap because there's an awful lot of red units on the map.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of the map that's red. So this is one of those cases where the economy engine of the AI is obviously in a much better place. So you've just got to be so much more efficient with your killing.
You can see there though. Like, I mean, it's how Texas will come into this, even in the beta. That ballista was actually pretty good at warding off some of the Uruks that were coming in on that command point. But they're not stupid. They're not going to walk into that. They're going to be like, they're trying to find another way around.
In general, they're going to try and find. Yeah, they're going to try and find choices. And on the harder difficult levels, they just get better at it and they respond more quickly and more accurately. So that's the killer boss is there. I believe. Oh my goodness, he's just used his ability. One of his abilities, which that golden glow that you're seeing off the Uruks. I think that's inspiring them into doing more damage. So, they're just holding the victory point. The AI knows the thing is, it's not stupid. It's got a winning strategy. It knows it's winning, so it's massing at the victory point. So you're going to have to force it off, and that means. If
someone's asking what the red line is in chat that they can see on screen now.
So the big red line it's the region.
It's the region, right?
Yeah, that's the line that denotes who's controlling this area. The regions are very important because you can't capture a conduit until you've shrunk its region, and the larger a region is, any bastion effects normally key off it. So if you've got a defensive structure on a bastion, it will do more damage and have a big. If the region's bigger, if you're collecting resources from a region, the bigger the region is, the more resources you get per tick. So.
And you said that the bastion will heal themselves if it's
and
max
if the region gets to maximum, the bastions will heal when they're not in combat. So it's all very good.
And then the smaller red line is once that region shrunk, that will be you have to bring that in, right? The central one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that region is not actually to do with the victory point, which is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
The victory point is the little red
circle
pie chart thing, and that's just who owns the victory point. Mm-hmm. And that's contested.
I mean, you've made this a difficult victory for him at least, Phil, because I thought it was game over. It'd be done by now, but you've put up a valiant defence and you're trying to push back. We've got a unit. Oh dear.
He's literally thinking he can get some victory points.
Finish you
by
off here,
attacking the command post. It's a very risky tactic. The command posts all have powerful defensive guns. Effectively.
Yeah, but I mean,
Magic,
he hasn't got to get that
power.
many points off you, and that unit
No.
is. There we go. Look, you can see he's going to do quite a bit of damage.
Ouch.
There we go. Phil, unlucky. Twice. It's all right. We haven't got time for. I don't think we've got time for a third one as a charm, but I hope that sort of explains sort of the fundamentals for what how multiplayer works in Realms of Ruin. Say we didn't get the victory, but you understand what we were trying to do there. It's you have to look at your economy like any the staples of every RTS are in here, right? It's unit management, it's economy management, it's working out your strategy and what upgrades you're going to go for and when you're going to go for them.
Yeah, how to use them, where to use them, and hopefully it should be relatively straightforward to understand the concept of even if you don't know all the minutiae. Capture points is good. You get stuff from it.
Yeah.
Capture victory points is good. You're draining the enemy of their victory score. Buy better and better units. Increase the tech on them. They're core principles that aren't different from any other RTS. For us, it's all about making it a fun, hopefully quite slick experience.
I think,
get into.
I'm really excited. I think players are really going to enjoy this. I think I'm really excited to see their feedback over the weekend. I know we had some sort of behind closed door stuff that's gone on, and people really sort of resonated with some of the mechanics.
Hopefully also they enjoy the fact this is Age of Sigmar, and you would see it when you play it. The detail that's gone into the it's fantastic. They're fun units.
Yeah.
Everyone has their little moment, their moment in the sun, their time to shine when they're doing their ability or crushing the enemy. It's we're reveling in the fact that this is for us. It's the first time we've really seen the Age of Sigmar kind of properly come to life.
Yeah, and just
we're very proud of that.
As you should be. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. We really enjoy it. I will stress again, obviously, the beta is live from this Friday, 11 a.m. Sort of BST, running all the way through to Sunday. It is a beta. Please remember that when you log in. We are looking for you to stress test it. We do know there's going to be some balancing issues. It's not a demo, okay? So it's not us saying this is the finished product by any means. So please take a look. And bearing in mind, today's show is literally only talking about the mechanics of how to play multiplayer. We have so much more to talk about.
There's more.
For Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin. This show has purely been focused on the beta. We haven't talked about the other factions. We haven't talked about anything else.
I really want to.
I know you do, and that's why I'm petrified you say something.
There are 4 factions, and they're all really awesome.
They are all really cool. So we've got lots of stuff coming up. We're at TwitchCon, so if you are going to TwitchCon, you'll be able to play Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin there at TwitchCon. Please remember, if you want to find out information about the beta, just type in !beta. But we've also got an incredible competition that's running until, I think it's the start of August, but it's definitely running until August, where you can win this absolutely behemoth monster PC, which I think we might have an image of right there.
Look at that beauty.
This is just by following us on our social channels, right? And our friends at Overclockers, you can come along and you can get entries into winning this incredible PC. So make sure you're having a look at that. If you want to see the rules for that, please put !comp in the chat to go through and have a look at see how you can be winning that incredible PC. So right, Sandy, I have got to let you go back to work because I will be in a lot of trouble if I don't.
Yes.
I will be seeing you again, I'm sure. We've got loads more to talk about. I think the next show we're going to have is on, I believe I've got it on my notes somewhere. I think it's the 19th of July.
Yes.
Note here from Sally that says no spoilers, boss.
No spoilers,
so I
boss.
will say nothing else about what's going on the. She knows me very well, so I won't be saying anything about that. But I always have great fun talking to you, and you're a font of knowledge. I think the passion you have for this subject and this game just shines. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I always enjoy being on, and I can't wait for people to get their hands on the beta and get in there. Find out where it's not working. But more importantly, it maybe also enjoy it because it's quite a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's really good fun, and there's so much going on all of the time that's half of the challenge. It's just keeping track of everything that's going on while you're doing everything. So it's great.
I am a huge RTS fan. I've been in love with this since the moment you allowed us to sort of get hands on internally with it. And we've played various different builds of this. And, as we said, this is the beta build. For players, have a go. We're going to stress test everything, get your feedback, and then we'll have more to talk about after that. No spoilers, I've been told. I was getting in trouble. It's been great fun. Sandy, please come back and see us again. I'm sure everyone will want to see you. Can we have, I don't know, have your best wah in the chat, please, for Sandy. I think the Oryx won.
The Green Horde, the Oryx, gave us a bit of a spanking.
They did. They weren't being kind to you there, Phil.
Well, Oryx are my first choice anyway, so...
I know, you're playing against your chosen faction.
Maybe I let them win. We'll never know.
All right, everyone, we'll see you on the 19th of July. But please remember, join us on all of our socials. Join us in Discord, and we look forward to seeing you all on the beta this weekend. Much love from us here at Frontier, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Peggy 16.
Commander, there is the stench of death about this place. Not just from the Oryx.
Death comes for everyone. Eventually. Except us. Fortify our position. We must claim this swamp.
Enemy sighted.
Strike
he does it.
Sigmar, give me strength!
I think it's time for a fight, boys! Wah! Protect the bastion! We need the loot! Like flies to a corpse! They always come!
Aiden, I will take the fight to the Auric Warlord. You hold here.
Fate conspires against us both.
Not fate. Duty.
Get out!